We talked about the historical day for Hendrick Motorsports, and now we're going to talk about the race itself. I thought we would come in here and have a little fun and joke and say, all right, man, here's the highlights for Martinsville, have about 5 minutes of dead air, and then move right into the Xfinity race. I thought that'd be fun.
5 minutes?
5 minutes, yes.
Dang, that's a long
You'd
time.
have to sit there and hit the fast forward.
So many.
Are they going to talk?
Put it double speed like Kenny.
There's your highlights. There were no highlights. No highlights from Martinsville outside of the Hendrick Motorsports win. But listen, Door Bumper Clear probably hammered this home yesterday about short track racing. Everybody has their opinion. Drivers, are talking horsepower. Jeff Gluck had his rant. Everybody, Bob Pockris, everybody's out there in the NASCAR ecosystem giving their thoughts, right? I'm beyond burned out on complaining about this short track package, right? And I don't know what the episode numbers are, but there's plenty of opportunities to go back and listen to other shows. I literally had a note in my phone that I kept up until just, several weeks ago that was my opinion about answers of how to fix the short track package. And I recently deleted it. I'm going to see if I can find it. But I'm burned out on it, man.
Sounds like we need a party.
Yeah. I don't feel like going over all of the things I would do to the car.
I know.
I don't. And I don't disagree. It's not good. I am glad to see other people feel the way I feel. If you go back a year ago and listen, even recently, hey man, I'm worried about Wilkesboro. We finally got this track back, but the short track package is no good. We may, how can Wilkesboro succeed if we don't put a good product on that racetrack? We argued about it last week. We didn't argue about it. We talked about it last week. We left Richmond, and Jordan Bianchi and those guys are convinced, we don't need a second date there. You see that damn race? We go to Martinsville. We have a similar night, and now we've got the urgency. We got to fix this, man. That's the urgency that I've been waiting on. Where y'all been? Where's everybody been? Everybody wanted to take a date away from Richmond last week. Silliest shit I ever heard in my life. But now we're finally urgent about getting the short track package right. Right? I'm about to get pissed off. So, it really made me angry that we walked out of Richmond and said, man, that track don't need a second date. We need to go somewhere else. No, that's not true. And then we have the race we have at Martinsville, and now everybody says, oh my God, hit the panic button. Dude, I was hitting that freaking button a year ago. It's beyond panic time. All right, it's panic time last week when you're talking about taking a date away from a racetrack. Man. So, anyhow, what are they going to do? Take a date away from Martinsville? We're just going to not go to these tracks? We're just going to quit going to them?
Feels like the cheap way, like we're giving up on ourselves versus trying to find a way to fix. I think the problem is we know Martinsville can be better.
Oh, yeah.
Look.
I will promise you that NASCAR wants nothing more than a fantastic short track experience, package racing. They want it. They're not sitting here letting this die on purpose. That's not really what nobody would do that. That is not what they're doing. That's crazy. That's going the other way into bonkers. All right?
Right.
Nobody's going to intentionally let this play out so that we just the short track the short track element in the NASCAR schedule just evaporates. That is not what's going to happen, and that's not what NASCAR wants. They want to fix it, but man, there's this weird, very difficult dynamic that has been created when 20 years ago or even more than that, I guess you could go back 30 years ago, right? Bill France Sr. was the final boss. He was the rock. Bill France Sr. would walk in and say, "Here's what's happening today. Everybody get on the fucking train. If you ain't getting on, you're getting left at the station." There was no bullshit. There was no collab. There was no RTA. There was no driver council. Drivers tried to form a PDA, but they couldn't. Bill France Sr. was like, "This is my rodeo, and this is what's going on, man." I said this in this very room years ago. I miss that. Now we all got to have some input, and we all hold each. Now we're all legally written in contracts how we have to allow everyone to come to a conclusion, right, on anything. And so to change horsepower, do whatever they want, to there are, look, if NASCAR could snap its finger, they might put horsepower in the cars. They might put a smaller tire or smaller brakes on the car. If they could just snap their fingers and get rid of shifting on the ovals, they might just do it. But it is going to cost money. Some of those, listen, putting horsepower in the cars, putting 80 horsepower back in them, not expensive. Yates has said that. Everybody, even a guy that builds freaking motors, says that they can put a horsepower in them. So fine, put a horsepower in them. Who cares? I don't think it matters. I don't think it's really going to change the way the racing looks if you added 100 horsepower. I just don't. Drivers, there's a lot of drivers that think that's what would happen, and if they believe it, let them have it. I don't think it's going to do. It might do something, but it might do nothing. I don't know, but if they want it, let them have it. Fine. That's fine. I'm not arguing against horsepower. I just don't know that that's the right switch to pull for me. I mean, we saw at Bristol the tire and what that tire did and how that changed that. That was a hell. Denny talked about how he couldn't run into the back of a lap car this past Sunday because he couldn't get to him.
So he just had to ride around him.
So he just had to run right behind him. Cindric, that's the frustration that the drivers feel. Didn't have that problem at Bristol. They run right in the back of each other because they could get to each other. Aero didn't matter. None of that mattered. The answer is right there in our face. We're all debating on what needs to happen. Yes. Are the brakes too good? Is the braking zone too short? Yes. Do you have to change the brakes? No. Is the tire too wide? Yeah. Is there too much rubber on the ground, giving them too much grip, making the corner speeds too fast? Absolutely. Do you have to change that? No. I don't think that's what you have to do. If it's going to cost you $1 million to build smaller wheels and to buy them, do you want to do that? Is it going to, are you going to have to, if you want to get smaller brakes on the cars to make the braking zone longer to allow the drivers that passing opportunity on the entrance to the corners at Martinsville, it's going to cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not $1 million, to buy all the brake components. But we saw at Bristol what didn't really cost anybody nothing. Make a huge difference. That's what pissed me off about anybody that complained about that tire running 40 laps. You don't complain about that.
It's a good thing.
Not after what we had Sunday. Do not complain about that frickin' 40-lap tire at Bristol. Yes, 40 laps is too little. We know. But that is the answer. Now, that's a tricky thing. I don't think it's like I don't think it's just a simple thing as, okay, build that tire Goodyear, problem solved. We already know that like tire temp or track temp and all of those things are going to play a role in how much the tire will wear. You could take that tire to Bristol once a month, and it might run 40 laps one month, 60 laps the next, and 30 laps the next month. You just never know depending on how the temperature and the dynamic track surface is going to be, right? So it's not like a real easy thing, but we know there is your answer right there. Will horsepower beat up the tire a little bit more? Just a little bit, but the tire's fucking tough.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That tire they had this weekend, horsepower wasn't going to do shit.
There is no way Joey Logano should have been able to go that damn long on those tires.
Yeah, another off topic just slightly. If you looked at the racing surface and how it was rubbering in, I got a picture on my phone right here. The track did rubber in, but only where the rights ran. It was completely green where the left side tire run.
The Dale Jr. Download is sponsored by BetterHelp. Dalton, how's your social battery right now?
Could be better. Not going to lie about that. It's been a busy couple weeks.
Yeah, busy. It can be draining after some of these days.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hey, therapy can give you the self-awareness to build a social life so it doesn't drain that battery we've been talking about.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's a lot of benefits to therapy, and one of those is that I have a place to kind of make sense of some of my thoughts so that I have more time to dedicate to recharging that social battery.
Yeah, absolutely. I've given it a try. It's been super helpful for me. I think you've tried it too.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
So if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule, especially with the busy work schedule that we've got.
That helps.
Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Find your social sweet spot with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/Dale Jr. today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Dale Jr.
We all agree with I think we all do agree with the conversation going on this week around short track package. I am thankful of urgency I'm seeing from others. I'm thankful of that. I think that, I think they'll figure it out. I have to be positive.
I got to see something.
I cannot live in I can't go forward thinking, oh, we're doomed. We're f***ed.
Right.
I can't. We're going to figure it out. It sucks. It's bad. We're in a bad spot. Right? But man, this has got to get figured out. It's has to.
Yeah.
No way they don't. And I think, maybe they will swing for the fences. They made some changes. They've tested. But I think, I'm telling you, man, I'm hopeful that at some point when they do get it figured out, we're all going to look back to that Bristol race and go, man, I'm thankful that mistake happened.
It was an eye-opener.
I'm thankful that fucking mistake happened, because that right there is that's the main ingredient. If you're making the soup that's going to fix short track racing, there's the main ingredient right there. Is what happened that day.